Hi, welcome back to We Are Tearfund. My name is Rene August. I live in Cape Town in South Africa and I work for an organization called The Warehouse. We're going to talk about the Bible, Jesus and justice. When we're talking about the Bible and justice, I think it's important for us to remember that the most important commandment according to Jesus is love the Lord your God with all your heart and love your neighbor as yourself. The moment we're talking about loving our neighbor, whether that has to do with the person living next door to us or living down the street from us or living in another country, it requires us to pay attention to how we relate to those people and how we do the work of loving one another, in that it is impossible to obey the commandment of Jesus without doing the work of justice. Find the lens of justice or the character of God and the justice of God woven through every page of scripture, from Genesis chapter 1 all the way through to Revelation. When God creates the world and says it is good, this word goodness is not inherent in one thing, but goodness resides between things, between the relationships. And so this word righteousness is about right relationships between you and me, right relationships between me and all of creation, right relationships between me and the people that I call my neighbor and the people who I don't yet love as my neighbor because I don't know them. Yeah, reading scripture through the lens of justice is as important as reading the scripture through the lens of love. It is as important as reading scripture through the lens of the environment, and for us to take seriously the issues that face us in society today. In each one of those, either we have to bring all of our lives into relationship with God and in conversation with scripture, or we have to say scripture has nothing to say to us about issues of justice or about neighborliness or about the environment or about how we deal with just labor practice or conflict or war. And so separating the two for me feels like a lot harder work than trying to integrate what Jesus says and what scripture says about how we should live together. Sometimes people find it difficult to think about Jesus and politics, but even the titles for Jesus, the title of Messiah, of King of Kings or Lord of Lords, all of those are not religious titles, they're political titles. And they are titles given to people who give governance over community life, over society. And so this already gives to us this idea of God as a God who governs over just systems that create good relationships one with another. The call from Amos in Amos chapters 3 to 6 is a call not only to a group of people who live with careless ease, but it's a call out of a life of careless ease into a life of justice and righteousness. And this righteousness and justice sort of play off one another. Righteousness is about the right relationships that create conditions for justice. And justice is this state of balanced harmony that creates the opportunity for lovingness and for goodness to be produced in our relationships with one another. So I would say righteousness is what creates conditions for justice, and then justice is the state of the good relationships that then becomes dynamic in that it doesn't remain contained in one relationship. My relationship with you, if it's good, will spill over into goodness and into love and into, just better relationships between us and all of our neighbors. And so whether we look at it as go make disciples or love your neighbor as you love yourself, whichever lens you want to read that through, there's an imperative on each one of us from the words of scripture to be involved in the work of doing justice. So thank you so much for watching. Please continue the conversation. If you like the video, give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe, and we look forward to continuing the conversation with you.